Right, hello and welcome back to the Orgs Talks podcast. If you don't know me, my name's Charlie. I'm the host of this podcast and I still don't have an intro for it that I'm giving in every episode. So welcome along. You're here for the ride. It's going to be a bumpy one. In today's episode, I want to basically reiterate that I have no clue what I'm doing. Now, for those of you who've watched the past 2 episodes of this podcast, I haven't really done what I wanted to do yet. And today's kind of going to be the same thing. I haven't really spoken about art that much yet. In the last episode, I spoke about a lot of contextualization around my work and that kind of thing and what's informed me over the years. Today's going to be basically another foundations episode because I'm struggling to talk about art actually. And I kind of wanted to address that, and I thought, what better way to do it than have it as a podcast episode, as this is probably going to be more for me than it is for you guys. So we'll see how it goes. With the whole podcast thing, I don't really know what I'm doing with it. What I really like at the moment is that I'm getting confident talking to a camera again, especially for an extended period of time, much longer than I have in the past when I've done these kind of Orgs Talks little snappy videos. I liked those little snappy videos and I've enjoyed that this podcast is able to become those in the reels on Instagram, but I've really enjoyed sitting down and talking and thinking, because actually this conversation that I have with a camera provokes quite a lot of thought for me, and that then snowballs into other things. And I'm hoping the more and more I talk in this podcast, the more that things just come up. So evidently the past 2 episodes haven't exactly been the most scripted. This isn't going to be the same thing either. I've been really struggling to talk about art because I want to talk about art in an educated and academic way, how I've kind of been trained to over the past 4 years or so, but also make it engaging and make it actually worth your guys' time. And I don't want it to be educational. I mean, if you come away from it learning something new, either about me, my process, or an artist within the art world, great. I mean, I've had an impact on someone. That's brilliant. But I'm not here to educate. That's not the main purpose of this. I'm here to just put an opinion out there and show everyone where I stand on stuff. If that makes sense. Right now, that kind of opinion might not be valued by anyone or many people, but I'm hoping that as this thing gains traction, those opinions will at least provoke people to think things about certain things in the world. Now, one thing that I've mentioned in the past is that I've recently seen Mark Rothko's... Oh my god. See? I'd even staggered there a little bit. So I'm just thinking of an artist's name, and I feel like as soon as I say it, everyone does that, you know? It's weird. Like, there's so much art that I want to talk about. Stuff that I've seen in the past few months, stuff that I want to go and see. But it's whether what I'm doing now not necessarily matters, but impacts. And that's what I'm struggling to get out, is what kind of impact am I going to make? Do I even need to make an impact at this kind of so early on with the podcast, you know? Do I just need to just talk about stuff and see where that goes? Because right now, all this podcast is just me with a microphone that I've spent quite a lot of money on, and a tripod that's... I basically, it's kind of a thing, I've got all the gear and no idea really. And I feel like I'm one of those people where if I'm prepared enough and I have all the equipment, surely that should mean what I'm producing is of a certain quality. You know? It's even this week, I've been back and forth, spending £100 and then refunding and then £100 on another set of microphones. Like, 2 microphones in addition to this one. It's not like I've got guests or anything on the show. It's not like I'm out and about. I'm just stood there with like my little thing. This should do, but I feel like in order to make this podcast better, I somehow need more equipment and better equipment. It shouldn't be that way. It should just be me being able to talk and be as low budget as possible. I want to kind of up the kind of scale of editing a little bit as we go on, but I don't want it to be like bam, 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 bam. You know? I don't want like pop-up ads everywhere. I know you can't have that on podcast, but you know, I want people to actually just pay attention to the words. Surely that's not too much to ask. I did have some quite good ideas for future podcast and how to generate more conversation and kind of bustle around Orgs Talks. I want to try and get a lot of audience suggestions for things to talk about. I think that'll be quite good. I think that's a good way to kind of springboard into things. Maybe have just one suggestion, create an entire conversation. That might work. So that is something I'm probably going to do once this goes out, if not before, maybe. Another thing as well, this isn't monetized yet. I really want to somehow make something from these. But I've had a brilliant idea in which I'm sure not many people have stuck around until at this point in the podcast, as a lot of people do leave after the first minute or so. But here's a little thing that's going to come up in Orgs Talks in the future, right? Instead of me having like, we'll be back after the break, and it's like something from Squarespace or something like that, or Wix, you know? I want it to be me doing the adverts. So this might be a little bit higher budget than kind of what we're on now, but I love it to be me going, and we're back after the break. And then it's just me chiming in about something else that I do, or like a work that I've made and purchasing that. I feel like that'd be quite fun. I feel like that'd be a good way to like snap the kind of academic formality out of Orgs Talks a bit. I think that'd be quite fun. I think people would enjoy that. Another thing as well, I put it on the story recently and I think it's incredible. The Jeremy Clarkson AI voice. I really don't know like too much around the legality of it and what I can and can't use. I want to use that all the time. It was great, I thought. I knew it was a little bit like low budgety, kind of the way that it was all strung together. I thought it was great. I reckon Jeremy should come along. I saw this reel recently, and it was around like how to make your content more like Top Gear, and that's something that before I even saw it, I really wanted to make kind of Orgs Talks into a kind of thing where me as a presenter or a host of this podcast and on these videos has that personality that you want to stick around for and that dynamic. Because yes, this podcast is about the art world, but it's about the art world through me. So it is kind of about me. And I want to be interesting. I don't want to be some stagnant creator, you know. I want it to be me who's the reason that you stick around for. This is something that we're looking at like a long way down the line, but being able to talk to people and have conversations on Orgs Talks would be incredible to have. Being able to talk to people that I've gone to uni with, or academics or artists that I know I think it'd be great. I know it would bring on that more academia kind of side to Orgs Talks, but I think it would also up like engagement. There would be more substance to it rather than just my opinion. That would be quite nice to have other people like contrast me, because I do feel like it's going to become very kind of one-sided in everything that I say, and I do want Orgs Talks to be about stuff that I like, of course, but I really want it to be about stuff I don't like as well, because I will be honest, in the art world especially, I think there's much more stuff that I don't like than what I do like. And I think that makes it a lot more accessible to people, because there's a lot of people that dislike a lot of art more than like a lot of art, if that makes sense. Especially because I do know that a lot of this crowd watching this aren't artists. So for you guys to hear me go, oh yes, the way so-and-so uses this is remarkable, and his use of this is... For me to go, I think that's utter rubbish, and this is why. I feel like that makes it more, you know, more accessible. And I also, one thing, in terms of talking about artwork and video games and everything like that, I don't want it to be, oh, I like that because that's pretty, or I liked that scene in that film because it was good. I actually want to sound like I know what I'm on about, and I think that's one like key thing for me to crack at the moment is, okay, I like that, great. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. Why do I love Red Dead Redemption 2? you know? And not have it just be, because it's fun and the story's cool. I want it to be much more kind of complex and have it so that it informs as well as is opinionated. Because I think that then gives the substance to what I have to say. As I mentioned, I think it was in the first episode of Orgs Talks, this whole thing, this whole kind of project, this whole direction with Orgs Talks is very inspired by the White Pube. And what they do with theirs is they have a website and they have a blog in which these kind of texts that they read out in the podcast, the texts go onto this blog. And that's something that I want to start. Firstly, I'd love to go and see art and then write about it. But I'm struggling to write about art. And I think that's where I've got a middleman which isn't there at the moment and needs to come in. Is I want to be writing, like, I don't know, I go and see a work. When I went to the Tate last month, I want to have about 1,000 words that I can have in like a 8 or 7 minute podcast. I think I've done the maths. I think it's about 1,000 words gives me about 7.5 minutes of content. So that's quite good. That's enough time for an intro, the content and the outro, and be able to be informed and opinionated with what I have to say. But I'm really struggling to write about work again. Especially I don't know what tone to take. Do I take the funny, kind of a little bit more energetic tone of Orgs Talks? Or do I do what I'm best at and write in a very academic sense? And then do I somehow then merge them together? Do I write in the academic way and say it in the energetic way? Would that work? Would that just create like quite a lot of obstruction in the way that I speak? It's stuff to work on, and I've got to work it out, but I'm here to kind of just say what's going on. I'm glad that I'm able to kind of form what's going right and what's going wrong at the moment. I know we're only 2 episodes in. One of them was just the foundations, then one of them was 25-minute ramble about context. And this, I'm hoping, will be a little bit shorter than the last one, but it's just more for me. I think we've got everything that we need to now. I think I've covered everything. I think I've got everything out. This was just a podcast for me. Thanks for listening if you have. Once again, I want to reiterate, Orgs Talks isn't about retention and kind of keeping people's engagement at the moment. That's one thing I want to build and is like a goal that I want to hit eventually. But these first few episodes are just figuring stuff out. I don't need likes or views or comments or anything like that. But I'm very much at a point where it's just learning what works for me, and then I'll find an audience that works with that. And then once that audience gets there, I can stay stable and da-di-da-di-da-di-da. We're going to finish the episode. Right, we need an emoji. Let's go for the thought bubble, because I ain't got an idea, so at least maybe people can give me one. Yes, the thought bubble, or like, I don't know, a guy thinking, but most likely the thought bubble emoji would help. Yeah. If you don't understand the process of the commenting emojis thing, could you comment on the Instagram reel that is like episode 3, whatever this episode's going to be called? It's like the photo, not any of the reels or anything like that, the photo that says episode 3. That'd be great. You just press the little comment button for you millennials out there who don't know what I'm on about. No, but yeah, thank you very much. If you've stayed to this point, I appreciate it. It's just been me rambling, but it's helped myself. Self-help. There we are. Smashed it. Right. And I will see you guys whenever I get around to recording. And hopefully by the next one, I might have actually written something that's about art. It's ambitious. Right. Until the next time. Ta-da, lads. Just look at me. Gorgeous.